Assalamu alaikum dear students, and a very good morning to all of you. Hope all of you are doing great. So kids, welcome to the class again. As you all know, my name is Nida Sahar and I am your social studies teacher. So kids, as you all know that we have started our 6th chapter, landforms. In my previous lecture, I had talked about what is a landform. I had discussed different types of landforms. We also had discussed physical regions of Pakistan, in which I talked about the Western Highlands. In today's lecture, I am going to discuss the River Indus plains. So let's get started. So kids, before getting into further details, let's recall what is a landform. A landform is a natural feature of the surface of the earth. Common landforms are mountains, plateaus, and valleys. And in this picture, you can see different types of landforms: volcano, hills, island, canyon, desert, ocean, river, jungle, mountains, waterfall, and plains. These all are the different types of landforms which are present on the surface of the earth, right? So kids, as you all know that in this chapter we are talking about the physical features of Pakistan, and there are two separate physical regions in Pakistan. Pakistan is divided into two major physical areas. Number one, the Western Highlands. Number two, the Indus River plains. In my previous lecture, I have descriptively talked about the Western Highlands. I'm sure you remember all the points about it. And in today's lecture, I'm going to discuss the River Indus plains, right? So kids, this is the page from your book. I have highlighted the main points and I'm also going to read it. The River Indus plains. The mighty River Indus is about 2900 kilometers long. It starts high up in the Himalaya mountains near a lake called Mohenjo-Daro in Tibet. From here, the river flows west through a deep valley between the Himalayas and the Karakoram range until it reaches Pakistan. It is joined by many streams and rivers such as Gilgit and the Hunza. It then begins its long journey south through Pakistan. The Indus turns south at a point about 200 kilometers north of Islamabad. Its winding course takes it downhill, cutting through the mountain gorges, twisting and turning, till it reaches the Potohar Plateau. From here, it continues into the Punjab plain to a place called Kalabagh. It then flows down towards the Sindh plain. So kids, the River Indus is one of the longest rivers in Asia, and it is the longest in Pakistan, measuring 1988 miles in length. It ranks 21st in the world on the basis of its length. The word Indus has been derived from an ancient Greek word, Indos. So kids, the River Indus starts high up in the Himalaya mountains near a lake called Mansouravar. Here you can see the breathtaking view of this lake. This lake is in Tibet. From here, the river flows west through a deep valley between the Himalayas and Karakoram range until it reaches Pakistan. This river is joined by many streams and rivers such as the Gilgit and the Hunza. It then begins its journey through Pakistan. So kids, before getting into further details, let's watch an interesting video about the River Indus. Watch this video carefully.
The Indus River is the longest river in Pakistan and the 21st largest river in the world in terms of annual flow. It travels for 1,800 miles and carries an annual average of 272 billion cubic yards of water, which is twice that of the River Nile. The Indus has supplied water for irrigation on the plains of the Indus Valley since early times. One of the earliest civilizations formed along the banks of the Indus River. As early as 3000 BCE, agriculture began to develop in the Indus River Valley. The ruins of Mohenjo-Daro on the banks of the Indus River mark one of the earliest constructed cities in the world, dating back to between 2600 BCE and 1900 BCE. Today, the Indus River is still the key water resource for the economy of Pakistan, supporting many heavy industries as well as agriculture. The Indus is considered to be the lifeline of Pakistan by the people of that country. The Greek name for this river is Indus, and when Europeans first discovered it, they used its name as the basis for naming the entire country of India. The river rises in southwestern Tibet and flows northwest through the valleys of the Himalayas. The Indus is largely fed by the snows and glaciers of the Himalayas and other mountain ranges in Tibet, India, and northern Pakistan. After crossing into the Kashmir region, it continues northwestward through an area jointly administered by India and Pakistan. It then turns south into Pakistan. Swelled by tributaries from the Punjab region, it widens and flows more slowly. The word Punjab translates as the land of 5 rivers, named after the rivers that flow through it: the Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, Beas, and Sutlej rivers. Finally, the Indus empties into the Arabian Sea near Pakistan's port city of Karachi.
Okay, now on page 51, about 650 kilometers before the Indus reaches the Arabian Sea, it is joined by the other great rivers of the Punjab: Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, and Sutlej. These tributaries join up at Panchnath and flow together before joining the Indus at Mithankot. In summer, the snow and ice melt in the mountains and the water flows into the streams and rivers. This is why Indus becomes a fast-flowing river at this time. It is also why flood sometimes occurs on the plains, and that's why dams have to be built to save the water from being wasted. The Indus Plains provide Pakistan with its best agricultural land. Canals carry the river water to many places in the plains, providing farmers with plenty of water for their crops. So kids, as you all know that we are talking about the River Indus. River Indus starts up in the Himalaya mountains near a lake called Mansarovar in Tibet, right? When it reaches Pakistan, it starts flowing from the northern parts of Pakistan, Gilgit and Hunza, and it flows down towards the different parts of the country. This is the River Indus. While its journey, other small tributaries also join the River Indus. These tributaries are actually the small lakes or rivers that flow into the large river, right? So the tributaries of River Indus are Jhelum, Chenab, Ravi, and Sutlej. These 4 tributaries join up at a point. This point is called Panchnath before joining the River Indus. These 4 rivers join up at the point of Panchnath. and after that they join up the river Indus, the great river Indus, at the point of Mithankot, right? And then passing through the Sindh, it finally falls into the Arabian Sea. So tributaries are the small lakes and rivers that fall into the large river, that is the river Indus. Clear? So kids, as you all know that in summer the snow and ice in the mountains melt and the flow of water into the streams and rivers increases, and Indus River becomes a fast flowing river at that time. It is also why floods sometimes occur on the plains, and that's why dams have to be built to save water from being wasted. This is how a dam looks like. As you can see in the picture, it consists of gates. A dam is a barrier that stops or restricts the flow of water or underground streams. Reservoirs created by dams not only suppress floods but also provide water for activities such as irrigation, human consumption, and for industrial use. Clear? So kids, the Indus River plains provide Pakistan with its best agricultural land, and canals are taken out from the river Indus. And what is a canal? A canal is a man-made waterway that allows boats and ships to pass from one body of water to another. Canals are also used to transport water for irrigation and other human uses. Canals carry the river water to many places in the plains, providing farmers with plenty of water for their crops. A large part of population lives in this area. Most of our big cities and towns are in Indus Plains. Okay kids, now on page 32, deserts. Along the eastern border of Pakistan and in the southeastern part, the plains are not drained by any river. The soil is sandy and it is not fertile, and there is little vegetation. These are the deserts of Pakistan. The main deserts of Pakistan are the Karan Desert in the northeast of Balochistan, the Thal Desert located between the Indus and Jhelum rivers in Punjab, the third desert, which is the seventh largest desert in the world, is partly located in Punjab and partly in Sindh, and the Cholistan Desert located in Punjab. Valleys. A valley is a lowland area between mountains or hills. Valleys are formed by fast flowing water or movement of glaciers. Some famous valleys in Pakistan are Quetta, Mari, Hunza, Gilgit, Neelam, Kagan, and Sawat. As we are talking about the deserts of Pakistan, along the eastern border and in the southeastern part, the plains are not drained by the river. The soil is sandy and it is not fertile, and there is little vegetation. These are the deserts of Pakistan, and the main deserts of Pakistan are the Karan Desert, the Thal Desert, the Thar Desert, and the Cholistan Desert. And kids, the third desert is the seventh largest desert in the world, and it is partly located in Punjab and partly located in Sindh. This is the seventh largest desert in the world. And kids, here comes the valley. That's how a valley looks like. A valley is a low area between hills or mountains typically with a river running through it. A valley or dell is a depression that is longer than it is wide. A valley is a lowland area between mountains or hills. Valleys are formed by fast flowing water or movement of glaciers. And kids, the main valleys in Pakistan are in Murray, Hunza, Gilgit, Neelam, Kagan, and Sawat. Okay kids, now it's your turn. You're going to read the chapter thoroughly from page 30 till page 32, and I'm sure after watching this video you would be able to tell how are valleys formed, what is the length of River Indus, can you name the tributaries of River Indus, what is the purpose of canals, why dams are built on the rivers? Can you name the main deserts of Pakistan? So kids, that is all for the today's lecture. I'm sure everything is well understood. I'm going to see you in the next class. Till then, all of you stay home, stay safe and study hard. Take care and Allah Hafiz.